So just to start up with, I would start up with one question. Uh, how many of us love money? Yes, obviously, we all love money. So when we love something, do we keep it with ourselves? What we love, we like to keep it with ourselves. But money is something we use this money, we spend our money to fulfill our goals or desires. How many of um, I'll skip this one. Just how many of us think money and wealth are two different things, or are they the same thing? Yeah, they are two different things. So, what would be the difference between the two? Money could be wealth, but wealth could not be money only. Yeah, money also includes assets and investments. Money we utilize for earning is the same money of right. So I'll just simplify this definition for you guys. Money is something what we work for. Money is something what we work for, and wealth is something where money works for you. How many of us agree to this? Money is something what we work for, and wealth is something when money starts working for you. Great responses, right? So there is a difference between money, but underlying what we don't create the line between money and wealth. So let's start understanding why money is required and how to create wealth. Like just a brief line towards it. We start with income. When we talk about money, we are talking about incomes, right? So whatever kind of income you have, whether it's through salaries, it's through business, it's through rental income, whatever, or even though if we call it as through interest rates and investments, so the whole package is income. This money, whatever you earn, it is generally divided in various baskets. Something goes into taxes, something goes into savings, and something into investments, right? So when we talk about our incomes as working professionals, it's very important to understand what is CTC. The broader bifurcation of CTC is basic salary plus allowances plus the deductible, that is the cost to company. But whatever money, whatever is a CTC, do you get the whole amount in your account? Possibly not. There are some certain things which are deducted from your account. For example, certain kind of taxes are there, profession taxes there. So that is the cost to the company. In hand, there'll be a difference. So in hand and take home salary, what's the difference? CTC minus the TDS. TDS is tax deducted at source, minus the profession tax, less the provident fund, both the employees as well as the employees contribution towards it, minus other expenses, whatever incurred or whatever charges, whatever expenses the company incurs on you. So reducing all these deduction, you get in-hand salary. So this is a broader picture, like how general CTC or you can say Form 16 looks like. So lot of most of us, like not lot of us, most of us are not happy with the taxes. So understand what it goes through. In the old tax regime, there are certain deductibles where you can invest, where you can put in money, and you get certain kind of deductions in it. The infamous ones are Section 80C, where right from your LIC policies, insurance policies, tuition fees, mutual funds, there is a category known as ELSS, Equity Linked Savings Scheme. Housing loan, the principal amount comes under Section 80C. all combined up to a limit of 1,50,000 rupees. Addition to that, 80 CCD NPS contribution, the contribution you make to your national pension scheme, as well as there is a new clause in the previous budget that a portion of NPS contributed by your employer is also included under section 80 CCD. Next is the health insurance part. There is a limit as an individual, as well as you can also pay some insurance premiums in your parents' name, but valid proofs are required to claim those exemptions. Education loans, medical expenditure for self disability, and bank interest what you receive in the saving account, as well as the recurring deposits, FDs and bonds. There is a limit to it. For the general category it's 10,000, and for senior citizen I think it's 50,000. So these are exemption only valid when you apply in the old tax regime. In new tax regime only NPS is valid, right? Better way to go through the taxes stuff is definitely to have a tax consultant, because he can work out certain things for you. He can make your profile more eligible so that you pay a bit of less taxes if it is possible. It's not necessary when you hire a tax expert, you may not require to pay taxes, but wherever it is possible legally, that way should be followed. When you talk about investments, specifically equity investments, these certain changes were made in the previous budget after the elections. So you have changes in short-term capital gains taxes, long-term capital gains taxes. Now for equities and stocks, short-term capital gains taxes is below 12 months, below 365 days, and above 365 days it is long-term capital gains tax. Short-term capital gains broadly is taxed a bit higher compared to long-term capital gains tax. There is certain exemption of long-term capital gains tax for a financial year up to 1.25 lakh rupees profit booked in one financial year required. And there are certain tax mistakes what people make. A lot of people I have seen apply for a public provident fund, PPF, separately parallel to employee provident fund. Why I call it as a mistake? Because employee provident fund and public provident funds both are the same things, but EPF gives you extra interest compared to a general PPF. EPF gives you 8.2%, whereas PPF gives you something around 7.1%. So this 1% additional interest with the same risk profile, like EPF is also managed by the government authorities, PPF is also managed by the same authority. But as an employee, government is giving you 1% extra interest. So I suggest not to create two different heads for a single PAN. EPF is slightly better because it's giving extra interest with a lesser risk, with the same amount, with the lesser risk profile. Another mistake what people make while investing is buying ULIP and money back insurance policies. It is very easy for a person to sell you these kind of policies just in the name of saving taxes, but these investments should align with your goal. Apart from that, they don't give you a better returns. Those are generally a high expense product. So returns approximately in some kind of endowment plan is around 5.92% to be precise. I have checked around 17 to 18 plans. The returns have not crossed 5.92 in a broader way from multiple insurance companies. So insurance is basically a risk covering policy. It is not an investment plan. So just in the name of saving taxes, don't get into bad investments which might not pay you good returns, or they are not matching your goal profiles. So we have done with incomes and taxes. So we come up to the next option, how to save. How many of us find saving difficult? Great, Rohan. Yes, it is. So I won't give you much of the gyan over here. I'll just those who find savings difficult, I'll suggest you guys to do one thing. Whatever expenses you make, just have a diary at your bedside, not even a mobile app. Have a diary at your bedside and write down the expenses. And the time when you feel a few months down the line, when you feel we are not able to save, यार हाथ में पैसा बच नहीं रहा है, just go through those diary and analyze it yourself where you can save your money. So theoretically, a lot of people say कि 20%, 30% has to be saved, but I feel that it can be it can differ from person to person. So have a diary at your bedside, write expenses daily, whatever you make, and whenever you feel you're not able to save much, just open up a diary and have a self-analysis. So this will inspire yourself to save. Otherwise, people keep on giving gyan, but eventually that doesn't work out. You have to work out on your thing. After you realize like saving is important. So first point is spending analysis. Next, you automatically get into budgeting. Then automatically you get into prioritizing your savings. So why we need to save? Like we need to save to achieve our goals. Through our life, once we get into the workforce around the age of 20s and 25s, retirement age is something around 60. So we have this golden 30-35 years where we are working. Within this 30-35 years, we are very much aspirant. We have our own expenses. We have our dreams to be achieved, like children education, house purchases, car purchases. And after we retire, we have not major sense of major sources of incomes. Now, when we are living through a certain kind of lifestyle. Now, to maintain that lifestyle after retirement, you need a certain corpus which needs to be taken care, which can take care of your expenses. So, when we analyze this thing, we need to work out on our goals. Our goals should be smart goals. Now, if I have to break out the SMART, it is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Your goals should be specific. They should be measurable. It should be time-based. It should not be one day I want to achieve this kind of amount so that I want to buy a car. Mark it down that I want to achieve X amount by say around 2028, 2030 so that I wish to buy a car. Now most of the goals over here, if you see, for child education you get a loan. Purchasing a house, you get a loan. Most of the other goals, we are able to get loans. Even the vacations are now on EMIs. But retirement is such a goal which you don't have loan for. So it is very necessary that you organize your finances to achieve these kind of goals. I generally say retirement and child education are two such goals which are not goals, they are responsibilities. One can delay a goal, but one should not delay his responsibility. So these two things is very important. For achieving those things, rest of the things should be managed very properly. Now, this is a pyramid of secure finance. So now when I start with this thing, emergency planning as the base, that important very important fundamental rule to have your emergency planning done at an initial level and at a very stronger level. Because whatever you create, whatever amount, whatever wealth you create, the wealth has an issue just under one thing: any unforeseen expenses which come over. It can be medical, it can be job loss, it can be pay cuts, it can be a scenario like COVID or whatever can come. So you have to be generally be prepared for emergency funds. Generally, what I suggest is you should have around 5 to 6 months of your monthly expenses. I am talking about expenses, not the incomes. Your monthly expenses into 5 to 6 months plus 1 year's school fees if you have any kids and insurance premiums. So you should have that kind of kitty in something very safe kind of investments. Then you start up with your goal planning. Then we talk about retirement planning and then estate planning. After this pyramid is taken care, you have to take care of tax efficiencies and risk management. A lot of people get into they want to invest just for getting higher returns. Returns are important, I agree. But a particular goal involves certain kind of risk. So the risk management is also an important thing. You should not take high risk for very crucial goals like children educations or any other stuff. You should reduce your risk and returns should be decent, but you should not be mad behind the returns to just make quick monies. Over there, a lot of people make mistakes. Great. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your responses. So now where do we invest? So I normally say investment in knowledge pays you the best returns. I believe there would be certain people who have just started their career and not even who have less than 5 years of work experience in this industry. Investment in knowledge will always pay you best returns. You're upskilling yourself, you're making it more relevant for your employer, you're making yourself more relevant for the industry. This is one side. It helps you to create more income. Second, you should have certain kind of hobbies. Now 25 to 60 years you are continuously working. What would a person do after retirement? That is a bigger question. That's something which we need to take care of ourselves post retirement. So you should have certain kind of hobbies. You should have ability to learn new skills. If you should professionally upskill yourself. These things will definitely pay you better returns. This is the knowledge part of it. Now another part is there are majorly 4 asset classes: real estate, fixed income, equities and gold, precious metals. So major whatever schemes what you get through are either investing in one of those or a combination of these asset classes. Interestingly, each and every asset class has certain kind of risk involved in it. We'll just cover this in a couple of minutes. The real estate, there are certain kind of pros, there are certain kind of cons. Capital appreciation is a positive thing. It can generate income possibly through rent, or if it is an agricultural land, it can generate income. Considered to be safe and stable. It's a physical asset and it is obviously a lot of people have it's a matter of pride. A lot of people are influenced to buy real estate as the mental satisfaction of a security. Apart from the positives, it has some negative. It is not liquid. When I say liquid, its ability to convert into cash or ready money. I had met a couple of weeks back a person whose net worth would be around 15 to 16 CR, all into real estate. but he has like his wife needs to go some medical treatment which requires 6 lakhs rupees, but they don't have that liquidity. They have just 1 lakh rupees ka outflow and paying on the EMIs, but being asset rich and cash poor, that's not liquid. So similar this issue with real estate, it is not liquid. When you go to sell it, it doesn't sell at a right time. You might not get a right price at the right time. These kind of risks are involved. It is a bit risky when you go into land. Encroachment is the stuff, and many other risks are involved. High maintenance, whether you take real estate as flat house property or you take it as a land requires security, so that is again a maintenance cost. And high transaction cost. When you buy or sell properties, there is something around 6% registration fees just by the government. Paperwork and all other charges are separate, so it is having high transaction cost. Similar thing with precious metals, it is high appreciation, liquid, it is a globally accepted asset. Physical asset, it's a matter of pride. And negatives are, it's having high maintenance cost, it does not generate income. Real estate was able to generate income, it is not generate. Gold is not generating income. A lot of people may say about SGBs, but I don't find coming years sovereign gold bonds might not be there. It used to generate a nominal interest of around 2.5% per annum. So apart from that, if you go into physical gold, which is a major chunk of gold what Indians hold, it doesn't generate income. Fixed income, or in what we call it in technical term is debt, DBT. It generates income, it is safe, it is stable, it is liquid, but it is having very less returns. It is not majorly able to even give you returns better than the post-tax returns are generally around or less than inflation. So it is not able to create that kind of money for you. And there are some deductions involved if it is withdrawn prematurely. So for that, I mean, if you have a FD for 2 years and you require it after say around 15 months or 17 months, so there will be certain kind of deduction will be there in fixed deposits and fixed income securities. Equities, a lot talked about, a lot quite an infamous asset class. It is high capital appreciation, it is liquid, and it can generate income in the form of dividends. Cons are, it is very volatile, it is very news driven asset class. There was some news a couple of days back, and today if you see market has crashed a bit, it's gone down a bit. And it is misunderstood, and people have extraordinary expectations from it. They take this as a tool, trading in various instruments just to make quick money. So extraordinary expectations are there, and it is broadly misunderstood asset class. Right. So I'll put in a question over here. Which of this is the most risky asset class? Fixed deposit, real estates, or equities? A, B, or C? Equities. Right. C, equities. Great answer, Rohan. It depends. So, depending on your risk appetite, FD is not able to beat inflation. Real estate is not able to create liquidity when it is required, and equities are very volatile. So broadly, theoretically, if we say, most of us have answered it correctly, equities is the most risky asset class out of this thing. But every asset class has its own particular underlying risks. So generally, what I believe, what we should do, we should have a combination of various asset class, so that whenever we require money, we are able to get it. So that's one of the most important thing. Why we want to create money, why we want to save money, so that we can use it. but when I need it, I'm not able to access that money. That is not very right kind of investment. So in the world of investment, there are two different heads where the way you can invest. One is having direct exposures, like directly buying your own stocks, directly buying FDs, bonds, investing in commodities, real estate. And another form is exposure by portfolio. Now, when I say exposure by portfolio, there is a middleman which will be involved, who will be creating and managing certain kind of portfolio and creating certain kind of products for you. For example, mutual funds, ETF, alternative funds, and REITs. REITs is not a very popular product in India. Very less exposures are there in the Indian markets. It is real estate investment trusts. So it's an indirect way to invest in real estate. Great. So let's understand how a portfolio product works, or to be precise, just to take a reference point of how a mutual fund works. Similar way, majorly portfolio investments would work. So direct investments, when we talk about direct investment, the risk, whenever you want to invest, you need to understand the economical cycle, you need to understand the fundamentals of it, you need to understand the effect of news flows affecting that particular asset class. But as we are working and we are not that very connected with access to such kind of news, we might not be very professional with our investment. So hiring an investment to manage the portfolio, to create a portfolio yourself, that is a thing which is which a person should follow in a broader way. Even a lot of investors, when we talk about ETF, it's a portfolio investment. There are certain kind of underlying securities under the ETF thing. So how does a mutual fund or how does a portfolio be created? A group of investors with common risk profile and common objective invest their money with a fund manager. That particular fund manager invests in securities. These securities generates returns to you, which, as the ownership lies with the investors, so the returns are also added on to the investors portfolio. Broadly, this is the cycle which is used to create a mutual fund portfolio. There are various types of mutual funds, to be precise. Every mutual fund has its own fund objective. The people with the common risk profile park their money in those kind of products, those kind of funds, and the fund managers manage those things. And this is the way it is followed. Generally, what I have seen, people have a myth that mutual funds only means equity. That's not correct. You have debt funds also. You have some fund of funds which are directly investing in gold. So this is a range of products what they have, what an investor has, right from FD being the least risk, gold, debt, hybrid when two or more asset class come together. Equity and debt, equity, debt and gold. These kind of combination of asset class in a single product is known as a hybrid fund. So this kind of lineage of funds are created, and something where you go into is like, I would grade direct equity investment as the most riskier one, because we are not, you might get outstanding returns or even better returns than mutual funds, but there is no benchmarking. A lot of people fail very badly into direct equity investments also. So this is the broader risk-based, goal-based investing criteria. Use these kind of holistically. A person should be invested into various asset classes for greater returns or better achievements of goals. So methods of investing in mutual funds. Mutual funds is considered to be a very friendly tool of investments, and it has two options, just like your fixed deposit. Now, specifically, why I'm covering this, because a lot of investors feel SIP is a different product and mutual fund is a different product. They are two forms of investment where you can get into mutual funds. One is lump sum investment, that once you pay now and you don't ever repay, or it's not an annual or a frequent stuff you need to pay, right? You just park in for 5 lakh rupees and keep it for next, say, around 10 years, 20 years, whatever you want. That is lump sum investment. Another form is SIP, the monthly investment which goes to. So simple example if I want to quote over here is, one is like an FD, fixed deposit, where you pay in a single shot, and another one is SIP, you pay recurring deposits, where you pay monthly, the commitments are monthly. So monthly SIP of 10,000 rupees. Now we get into the topic of compounding. I just cover the 12% scenario. If you invest 10,000 rupees at 12% for 15 years, the amount is 50 lakhs, and if you invest for 20 years, it is 1 CR. So this is the kind of power of compounding. 10,000 rupees per month. Compounding is a very important thing. The most important thing is compounding is the time what you give. I'll cover it at the end of the slide. I'll just have 1 minute on that. So this is the power of compounding. The higher you wait, the money is generated by itself. The wealth is created by itself. So compounding is a critical tool for wealth creation. This is an ideal asset allocation thing when you are something in your younger age with no responsibilities or lesser responsibilities. You can park your money into higher risk investments with majority into equity, which is kindly aggressive and fetching you higher returns. When you come down to your middle age, around 30s, 40s and middle 40s, there you have responsibilities like children education. You might need to buy a car, you might need to buy a house, or some kind of goals are there. So at that point of time, you are not very much aggressive with your equity portfolios. You have to reduce and move towards safety. That is very important. And at retirement, you don't have any fresh source of income. Whatever incomes what you have, it is from your investments which you have made. So you cannot take a broader sense of or much kind of risk, but it is very important to beat inflation also. So you have to be conservative with majority portion into the debt category. So there are basically three tools. One is SIP, STP and SWP. SIP, most of the people know. SWP, now it is becoming famous thanks to the social media. And another plan is STP, and how to use it. When you want to start investing, you get into riskier assets, so you don't park your money. It's depending on the market scenario and risk taking appetite. Obviously, you start frequent investment, that is through SIP. With the corpus what you have created, from high risky assets to the lower risky assets, you can shift from equities to debt or lesser risky assets. So once you start doing that, reducing the risk, you can use the tool known as STP, systematic transfer plan. When the markets are at high monthly, you can shift from high risky assets to the lower risky asset one. And SWP, you have created your corpus, and we are used to certain kind of monthly incomes. So through that corpus, that amount which is created, which we get back or which we withdraw on monthly basis as a replacement to salary, that is used by the tool of SWP. Investments, mutual funds, it ranges from high to low. It is also like mutual funds also have products related to government bonds and fixed income, right from there to equities. So it is range from high to low. So what can change your life? 1,000 books in your shelf, gaining knowledge, learning, understand and implementation, and then taking action. So what can make a difference in your life? C. Correct. Shakti Kumar sir. Great. So the most important thing is like, it's not just gaining knowledge, understanding, implementing and taking action. It takes on, it creates extraordinary satisfaction and richness for your own self. Now, once we have created a very crucial point, what I would like to cover over here is retirement, right? So, whether you are earning or you're not earning, these kind of expenses are definitely there, like housing expenses, healthcare, transportation, daily living, entertainment, inflation, insurance. So these kind of expenses are there. So first we need to take care of these kind of expenses, which should be met even after the after our retirement. So we should be able to create that kind of corpus for ourselves, so that we have our settled retirement for our own self. Why I am using this statement, settled retirement for our own self? Because your parents are not your emergency fund, and your children is not your retirement plan. Earlier, as we started, I mentioned some things. Retirement is such goal where you don't get a loan, and it doesn't involve expenses. These are the kind of expenses which are there. So retirement plan is a very crucial stuff of what a person needs to take care of. Estate planning is a part and very crucial part of retirement planning. So there was an article in Times of India: property and family disputes account for 76% of litigations. So just getting into examples which are there in media, and they are good case studies, and one should obviously read it for their own awareness. When Dhirubhai Ambani passed away back in 2007-2008, I think, he did not create a succession plan. Then later there was a very bitter fight, and everything was in media. The family was in media, blaming each other for whatever and whatnot reasons. And now when you see, one brother is at the apex of everything, and another person had to go bankrupt and had to file for bankruptcy, and obviously not very great consideration in the business world for him. So a succession plan, when it is not made, it is obvious that it creates bitterness in the future generation. Once you make that succession plan, then it is a very good picture to go. Like the family, like इतना मेहनत करके यार पैसा कमाया है सब अपने लिए, फॉर आवर नेक्स्ट जनरेशन वी हैव क्रिएटेड मनी एंड वेल्थ फॉर आवर नेक्स्ट जनरेशन, and we have given our blood and sweat, not for our next generation to fight with each other for those kind of assets. So this thing, something which should be taken care of. Another case is Vijaypat Singhania. Now this is again a very infamous case. You can go through the media. It's a very great case study where Mr. Vijaypat Singhania, he being there, he had transferred all his wealth to his child, all its rights, all its properties to his child, all the stakes to his child. There was a time, even now, if I'm not wrong, the father was staying on rent with no money to pay for the rent also. Then it was a very bitter legal fight which was there, and still the things are coming in news. There are some coming on to some kind of understanding or something. These are some kind of news which are coming, but they had a very rough and bad patch as a family, where the person has made a succession plan and given all the rights to the next generation. So this is also, so when I say about estate planning, it is not, it should be something very logical. Like you cannot give all your rights to the next generation, neither you can avoid making succession plans. So that both the things can turn bitter for the future generations. So estate planning, again, it's a very important thing. Now to summarize, money is just an utility of exchange of utility is just for that. You know what you really want. Your goal should be smart, being specific, measurable, attainable, time based and relevant. They should be smart. Understanding assets and their risk and create a portfolio according to that so that you achieve your goals. That is very important. Achieving goals is important. Mutual fund considered to be one of the safer methods to invest in any of the asset classes. Compounding is the eighth wonder. Now this thing is being said by Newton Einstein. So he mentioned it. Compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. One who learns it earns from it. One who doesn't learn it loses from it. So that's one thing. Execution and discipline is the key for any kind of wealth creation, and planning is necessary for the future. Very necessary for the future. And thanks you. That's it from my end, and I am open for questions. I would like you guys to share the feedback if possible.